My intention here is to take, like I said, very light passes, masking a face shield on, and just see how the shape comes together without us going through the bottom and creating some sort of hideous funnel. Turning at just about 1,000 RPM right now. Hand behind the tool rest, anchor well, and take little light passes. And we've already experimented with how this turns downhill, and we know we should be okay. Again, very sharp tool. I might go to the sharpening station 3 or 4 times before we actually get this done. Can't put too much pressure on it. I don't want to tighten it up too tight and risk losing my nicely polished and finished mouth up there. So one of the benefits of working, so we can see exactly where our bump is going to be there. One of the benefits though of working, I'll give it a little more tight, with pre-polished wood is we're going to get a nice defining line, and we're going to see right when we get our blend in here. And I shouldn't have to even shear scrape this. Nice sharp tool, we should be able to get right down, get it perfectly ready to sand cut, and then we'll sand and blend the rest of this. I had originally contemplated adding some texture down here, but I think it'd take away from the overall piece. So I'm just going to keep working that shadow edge there. I'm going to put a little bit more light on it. Apologize if this is too bright for the picture, but I want to really delineate that shadow line. For me, that's going to help me see where my mark needs to go. I had a spider on my leg. I did not care for that. Okay, you can almost, you can see it and you can feel it just a little bit, so we got a little bit more to go. But not as scary as I thought it was going to be. To be honest, this is, we're down to, this is very thin, very light, and we have all this mass in the base. So we're going to keep pulling it around, and I just got to finish off this right here in one nice swoop. There's no cracks or anything showing up. This is all the feather from that branch, which is really pretty. It polishes up lovely. And I think we'll want to make it a little bit rounder on the bottom before we start working on the beaded foot. Touch my Now, I really like that shape. I think we've got a beautiful shape here. We could sand and blend that quite easily. I still have my mark on the bottom down here, so we do need to work on getting some of that material out, and I'm going to come in straight here and pull it back, and then we'll be able to start beading it. But overall, that's the shape we're going for, and I think that's quite lovely. I'm actually quite pleased with that. We have a little tear out here, and maybe I will have to do a little bit of the wing scrape to get that up, and we have some of that beautiful pink spalting coming through, carried all the way down through where this branch went. So let's go ahead and pull that up into where we're going to put our bead. Go ahead and give a little bit of a light scrape here. I was hoping to avoid this part here, because we're getting really thin up here. Keeping that real light there should give us an easier start for sanding. And I like this flat here, so now we're going to make our bead out of that bottom. Now here is where I wish that I could had a vacuum chuck of some sort that I could hold this in with. One of my buddies, Tony Peps over at Tony Peps Woodworking, he's a big vacuum chuck advocate, and I keep resisting it. Having used a lot of vacuum chucks in my other job, the maintenance on the actual vacuum pumps is one of the things that kind of keeps me disinterested in going that route, but I do know it's got benefits. This is just a 1/2 inch spindle gouge. Find where we're at, and I'll start cutting in towards our center there. This is where our bead's going to be. I don't know if from the angle up there you can actually see this or not. So we started to round our little bead section here. And I'm going to put a delineating line in that with the sharp pointy gouge, but I think I want to put a super fresh edge on this one. I'll hand do this edge real quick and I'll be right back. A nice little fresh hand done edge on this one real quick. And we're just going to put a little shadow line on that bead. Then I'm going to come in here, lower the tool rest. I'm going to turn off this. I don't want to accidentally have a bump here. I'll lower my tool rest about 1/8 of an inch to get a slightly tighter approach angle into a little nub here. But it doesn't look like we're going to be able to do much from the lathe. That's going to have to happen. Yep, that's going to end up having to happen for us off the lathe at the table. So now I'm just going in to give a little more shape to our bead. Okay, let me see what tool can I get in there to. Oh, that's actually in a pretty nice depth here, so that'll polish up very nicely. We're going to have to do this whole entire section down here by hand, so we're going to have to hand sand off the rest of this nub into there. But depth-wise, we look pretty good, and I think that went way faster than I expected. So I'm going to start out at 180, and we're going to go up through 400. We'll blend our transition line here, and from there, it'll just be a matter of repolishing it. And I'm going to use grit here, and then I'll take it over the buffing wheel for the final application, and we're just going to use carnauba. There's no finish on here right now except for our shop shine. And what we could do on the wheel, we got some interesting spalt there, which usually spalt is pretty, but that ends up looking, it's not as pretty in the wood as I was hoping right there. That would have been nice if that was clear honey all the way through, but this is just what we get. We got some interesting spalt. So the burl still looks beautiful on top. This interesting staining in there, and then of course we have our little pink from the flame in the box elder. So I'm going to go ahead and set up for some sanding, put you guys on turbo mode, and we'll move on from there.